Party started. Now, we were doing test-taking strategies. I want to point out something else to your little asses. Now, we're on page 17, remember? Okay, now, so we're on test-taking strategies. So far this morning, what did you get cussed out for? Number one, changing your answer, right? Psychology told us the reason why you picked that answer is that you heard it somewhere, read it somewhere, saw it somewhere, highlighted it somewhere. Some kind of reason why you chose that answer. And the answer is usually correct. I told you, UWorld will collect all of your little change answers. It will show you how many times you fucked that up. So literally the software collects every change of answer you did. And it shows you how that wasn't a good look. Okay, so just remember that. There's a way to look at that analysis in UWorld. So you're changing your answers. Now, the other problem is you answer too quickly. I don't know what you gotta do. Sit on your hands, put them behind your back, play with your tits. I don't know. You got to do something so you don't answer too quickly. Talking about click, click, next. No, do not answer too quickly. The person who answers too quickly is usually wrong. You got shit to do anyway with the question. We just talked about that. Only change your answer if the rationale for why your answer was wrong, if you actually have a reason for why your answer is wrong, or the second answer is right. I forgot to give you this example, and it's a very pertinent example. So I had a little baby who was doing what I said in number one. She answered the shit too fast. She had select all, and it said which one of these, it was select all, which one of these is contact precautions? This was an infectious disease question. She had C. diff. She had meningitis. She has Shigella. She has scabies. She had her, what was it? Chlamydia, something stupid. Chlamydia. And she had histoplasmosis, something weird. So the test said, okay, select all that apply. Which one of these is contact precautions? So she went skip a doodle doodle doo. And we'll just, for the sake of shits, kicks, and giggles, put it up here as numbers. Now, if you look up here on the board, it's a select all. However, what rule did we learn this morning about select alls?
Don't pick if you're not sure.
Only pick some shit you know, right? Okay, so we're gonna have you pick some shit you know. And we're gonna take it by a vote. Raise your hand if you wanna pick this shit you think you know. Oh, that's good. Okay, so we're gonna circle this one. Look like y'all like that. Raise your hand if you like this one. Raise it real high, because I can't see half of you. They don't like that shit. Raise your hand if you think this one, Shigella. Okay, y'all don't like that shit. Raise your hand if you think scabies. Oh, you had scabies, did you? Okay, wow. A little itchy, itchy, scratchy, scratchy. Okay. What about crotch rot, chlamydia? Oh, nobody. Okay. Crotch rot don't apply. Histoplasmosis. Oh, the baby from New York. Oh, nobody else though. Okay, now, you're all wrong. You would have fucked it up. No, I'm just kidding. You are wrong, but you got some points, okay? Peep this, babies. With the rule I taught you this morning, you kicked ass and took names. Good for you. Guess what you would have got? 2 points and nothing wrong. Y'all good?
Yeah.
But baby girl did what I told her. What I tell y'all, read each and every one of these. When you read it, I teach you to go from the options up, so that avoids first thing you see looks like it's the right answer. Multiple choice questions are very tricky. They put a certain amount of answers down there by D. Have you noticed that? You'd be like, oh wow, I didn't even see that. Okay, so when you're doing multiple choice, read from the options up. When you're doing select all, options up. We say before you press next, watch this. You got the little thing over here to say next, right? before you click on that bad boy, go back and read the whole thing one more damn time. How many questions per hour did I tell you? You got plenty of time to do this if you do it right. My girl read that shit again. She did exactly what you said. But then when she read it again, guess what she said? Fuck. I thought this was shingles. It's not. It's Shigella. And she circled it because yes, indeed, y'all didn't get it, but she did. It's contact precautions. So she got 3 points out of that. You see? Read it one more again. When she read it again, she said, oh, that look like shingles. It ain't shingles, it's Shigella. That's diarrhea. Well, she only know that because we do it. You're gonna know it too before you leave, because we do it on your infectious disease pink packet. We do that. Okay, so the take-home message: do not press next until you read it one more time for the road. One more time, just in case you missed something like requires further teaching at the end of the sentence. What we tell you when you're taking the test is the last 5 words of the question are most important. So we tell you literally to read that first because that's the meats and potatoes. That tells you what the test wants you to answer. Okay? If you go back to the original question like you're supposed to, and you read them last 5 words again, it should make sense. Okay? All right, now, so that was it. We said a little bit about that this morning. This is a nice example of someone who took a test and did it again. We already said avoid absolutes, take your time, blah, blah, blah. Use a systematic approach. We did the pulse. Now, for letter B, we did a little bit of this, but let's make sure you get it. For letter B, under number 2 on page 17, why are numbers so important? Well, here's another reason. If they're under 18, you guys did a fairly decent job of this morning. If they're under 18, you must incorporate the principles of growth and development. Now go with your girl, because we got some growth and development quickies in here. Go to page, I believe, 14. No, I lied, 13, 12. Page 12. Go to page 12. Here you will find some quickie tips on growth and development. Growth and development tends to be reasonable when you get your little average of 3 questions in growth and development correct. They don't torture you anymore. Now when you fuck it up, your test just became a growth and development test. Now, cousins, I'm gonna need your ass to go to page 12. If you ain't on the right page, I'm gonna call you out. Go to page 12. What it say? What's this? What the fuck? Y'all done came back from lunch deader than the fucking doornail? Really? That's how we doing it? We're gonna try this shit again. What this say? Okay, y'all with me. Okay, now, so look at what I'm showing you. I highlighted all the developmental stages. I promise you, you have to understand them, not memorize them. I get my class to watch certain clips on Netflix to really understand it, especially adolescents, because they like that and toddler the best. Now, so here we go. For the neonate, Erickson's stage of development, infancy, birth to a year, trust versus mistrust. Now, we said if the question itself says something under 18, first of all, categorize what age range they gave you. In this case with Erickson, if you're under a year of life, you are an infant. And I mean, you really got to kind of be clear on this. So you're an infant, and everything that applies to an infant applies to this question. So let me give you some examples. You think they're asking about the specifics of pertussis. And you're like, oh, this question's about pertussis. And then you get these little options, and one of the options says this. This is your case study. Let's pretend. Let's just pretend this is a case study and you got a bunch of fucking options and you're like, well, what the hell? And one of your options says encourage rooming in. And you're thinking to yourself, that ain't got shit to do with pertussis. Wrong answer. It has everything to do with the fact that the question involved an 8-month-old who's under what? A year of age, who's classified as who? An infant, whose developmental stages. What? Trust versus mistrust. What does that mean translated? Rooming in. Don't separate mama and the baby. Don't separate daddy and the baby. Quit being biased. Daddy's sometimes better than mama. Mama be on some trash, daddy here. Either way, don't separate them from their child. You didn't click on it, but it's definitely worth points in what? Health promotion maintenance. So you get a whole nother set of points on this one. If you didn't click on it, you don't get no points for that. You see how some of these questions directly relate to something else? Yes, it is a pertussis question. Maybe they did ask you about stridor or, whooping cough is the other name. Good, you got your infectious disease points, but you didn't get your health promotion maintenance points, and this was a case study. You could have clicked on that and took care of that shit. You see how the test works? Okay, all right, so infants, less than a year. Trust versus mistrust. Don't never separate mama and baby, or in this case, daddy and baby if mommy's not available. Now, you're gonna get stinky questions on this that make you wanna separate them. I'll give you 2 in particular. They say that mommy got tuberculosis. What do you do with the baby? You don't give a fuck. Never separate mom and baby. Because guess what? He came out of her. He got everything she got. Does this make sense a little bit? Okay, so you're doing good. Now, let's go to the next one. What is the next Erickson stage of development? Toddlers. Toddlers are 1 to 3-year-old kids. This age, as you can see, it says autonomy versus shame and doubt. The number 1 issue for the nurse is to offer choices. Because what does autonomy mean? Making decisions or choices for yourself. So it's going to be about this. You want a Spider-Man Band-Aid or the Batman Band-Aid, baby? You want to eat the apple or the orange? You want to wear the red hat or the blue? Okay, you have to know this as a nurse when you get these types of questions that say the 3-year-old or the 2-year-old. Those are numbers. They're powerful. They mean a lot. They're under 18. You need to consider growth and development. Is it making sense? Okay, let's move on to the 3rd growth and development category. Erickson stage of development, preschool. What age range is this? 3 to 5. Initiative versus guilt, huh? All right, so what are we doing at 3 to 5? Oh, we're playing. That's why at preschool it's all about toys. You're not even doing a lot of learning. You're learning how to play. Play is in and of itself an educational situation. So when it comes to the 3 to 5-year-old and you see the word initiative, that's where this kid, and if you've been a mommy of this age group, you know what you get every time. Mommy, let's play this. You want to do that? How about I'm the mommy, you're the baby? Initiative. They take an initiative. They starting some shit, right? Initiative. You didn't go to them because you got homework. They came to you and wanted to do all this old extracurricular crazy stuff. Imagination, right? Initiative. Thinking up a new game. Thinking up a new toy. Thinking up a new deal to play with mommy or daddy. Okay, so initiative. But then got to remember the second half of all these growth and developments. So if you look at the second half, it says guilt, and that's bad, right? Because where are we getting guilt from between 3 to 5 years old? Write it down. Death, disability and divorce is always their fault. I'm going to say it again. Death, disability, and divorce is always their fault. They are suddenly developing a conscience, and the conscience is kind of mixed up in their mind. They're either good or they're bad, and when bad things happen, it's because they're bad. So, oh, mommy, did daddy leave because I didn't eat my green beans? No, honey, where did you go? Well, because he told me to eat my green beans and then he left. Mommy, did mama die because I didn't clean up my room? No, honey, where did you? Well, because mama said that good boys and girls clean up their rooms after they play, and the other day I didn't, and now she's gone. That's just how they think. You have to be very cognizant of that, because if this child is in the hospital from, let's say, a burned down house, it's their fault. They feel strongly, oh, it's my fault. And so you have to make sure as a nurse you say things like, now you know sometimes bad things happen to good people. And when the house burned down and you got this burn and mommy is burned really badly, and it's really scary because mommy can't wake up and look at you. She's burned so badly. You did not do anything to deserve this. It's not your fault. It's just bad things happen to good people. You're going to say that a lot with this age group. Bad things can happen to good people. No one deserved to have their house burned down. I'm so proud of you for being so brave. Okay, so you're putting in context. I saw this play out. I literally saw this shit play out when I had an LPN that I used to have that worked for me doing home care. So I said, baby, I want you to open up this case down on whatever down the way. And my girl, she used to have a dog with her because we practiced down the way. She's got her pit with her. She said, you talking to projects? I'm like, yeah, girl, you feel like doing that for your girl? She's like, yeah, I got you. So I was like, okay. Now, so she went down there to open up the case. She instantly fell in love with the kids because that's just how Taryn is. And the kids were like 5 badass kids, all kind of age ranges, 2 and 4 and on up. I think the oldest one might have been 10. Mama's in the streets. Grandmama in the little bedroom with a what you call that, peg? No, was it injury or peg? No, it was peg tube. Peg tube, pain, contractures, you name it, everything going wrong. So Taryn done fell in love with these kids, so she taking them pizza and stuff. That's just how my girl is. She hooking them up. And then the grandmother was just, I don't know, 89, 86, 80 something. The little 2-year-old knocked the peg tube out with playing ball. So you know me, I'm crazy. So I went over there, I said to Taryn, the problem is, this problem right here. Problem is these kids don't take you serious. I'm going over there and read the riot act because they done fucked up and knocked mama's peg tube out. So I go over there and say, listen here, children, military and shit. Listen here, y'all better get your shit together because mama needs y'all to behave. You can't be knocking her peg tube out. You should have been watching that one. Yada, 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 yada. You know, your girl crazy. And he's like, okay. Now, when grandma died a year later from some unrelated shit, the 4-year-old said to Taryn, I think I killed her. Taryn's like, huh? I think I killed her because I told her to take her medicine and she took too much medicine and now she's gone. And I told her to take her medicine. What he had heard through the communication of adults is that she had morphine at the hospital and she was in hospice at the time, so morphine was very appropriate. And after she had her medication, she went to sleep and died. But that ain't how he construed it. He was like, I killed her. So it was crazy. So Tara was like, wow, you remember when I was LP in your class, you told us that stuff about the kids always be blaming themselves. This child think he killed a grandmama. Makes sense. So death and disability and divorce is always their fault. Remember that even in your personal life. If you have like a breakup around this time when the kids are little, you got to pull them aside a bunch of times and tell them it wasn't their fault. The next stage is school age. This is one that's not that bad, but sometimes you forget the age ranges. So remember 6 to 12-year-olds, right? 6 to 12-year-old kids, they're in school. Now you did do good today because you kind of remembered a little bit of this, but this like fancy language that we use, industry versus inferiority, whatever the fuck it. And I always can say it, but then I can't. Okay, so inferiority is the bad part, the industry is the good part. Now think it through, because some of y'all forget your words. In America, before the last 10 years, what was America or the United States known for in terms of industry? What were we known for? What kind of industry did we have? What does industry mean? That's the key. Thank you. So in other words, what I did with that question is prove my PhD. My PhD was based on the fact that you failed the Nclex question, not based on your lack of nursing knowledge, but on your lack of understanding word comprehension or vocabulary. So if you don't know what industry means, this is going to be a problem on the test. Because if you didn't know that industry means making something or producing something, that question about, well, what is America known for all these years? Automobile industry, that's what we were known for. So we produced or made automobiles. Now you have to apply it to this age group. Industry is not a nursing term, but it is a vocabulary word that if you are very clear on what it means, you will mess this up. So this is the school age. So if you go back to that meaning of that word for the school age and you say produce or make something, then you know that this is the age where they're making everything. They're in the art show, the science fair, the big, huge drawing contest. They're making things. You know how this goes. Your refrigerator got all kind of shit that they made on it. Your china cabinet ain't got no china. It's got a bunch of shit the kids made in it. You know to go crazy, not phony, but crazy. You know, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But I know I usually like everything my kid make. I still have the one thing that she made. It's like near and dear to my heart. She made, one of the kids made a cookbook in kindergarten. I will never get rid of it, ever. Because this cookbook that they made in kindergarten is hilarious. Bake the macaroni and cheese for 17 hours on 2,000 degrees. And then add the orange stuff at the end. This is a cookbook by kindergartners. The teacher typed it all up. How do you make your favorite food? Is mac and cheese for this person. My daughter's favorite food was chicken. You take the chicken and you flip it. And when you're done flipping it, it's done. What? You didn't cook it? You didn't put no salt? No lorries was on that chicken? What happened? I guess all she saw me doing in the oven was flipping, you know. So whatever. So, you know, you take the stuff that they make, and your job as a parent is to make sure that this child knows that you're interested in what they made and that it's fucking amazing. Okay, so let's say that you did not do that, because see, it's all about you at this age. When they get older, you found out earlier today, it's about their friends. No, this age is all about you. So when you have a kid this age and they bring their shit home and you're just kind of busy with your little Shelly Belly shit, you world, and all the shit Shelly Belly give you, and they bring their little shit home and you're like, okay, baby, honey, I'm studying now. One time ain't gonna make or break your child. You keep doing that shit because you legit don't give a fuck. That's not y'all. But you legit don't give a fuck, okay? Because you on some drugs or whatever you're doing, shit. Now, your child takes that lack of appreciation for their industry and what they made as a sign that they didn't make it good enough. And so now they're inferior. They feel inferior. They don't feel good enough because the person who means everything to them in the world didn't like it. So now you have affected their self-esteem. And I must remind you, school is cruel. They're already facing negativity in school because at this age range, school is cruel. You know that. You know one but 2 or 3 popular people. Everybody else was teased to tears. So your child is facing some conflict and animosity for the first time in their life just in school alone. And then they come home and they're not the apple of your eye. They're not what you get excited about. You own Facebook. You're too busy with the gram. You own the phone. You're doing your job. You may feel, I'm doing this for you. That's not what they perceive. They perceive that no matter what they do, you don't like it. And you're not excited about it. That's why we always put their stuff on the refrigerator or the china cabinet. And Lord knows at Christmas time, we put their ornaments on the tree or whatever we can do, because this child must understand you are amazed at their talent. At this age, nurses, you already know. If you're working peds, all they drawings is at the nurses station. Everything is lining up, the whole department. They little name that's barely spelled right, letters are backwards, don't matter. That's Sam right there, baby. That's my child. He did that. Okay, so it is really kind of simple once you break some of these words apart to understand the growth and development piece when they give you a question and this child is under 18. The bad part about this, if you look, it says inferiority. And if you are looking at inferiority at this age group, and you do need to know this, it affects the child by causing them to be a bully. You see, it's very simple. You were not impressed by nothing they did. They brought home the little pottery. They brought home that little painting of the sun in the house. They brought home the little picture they drew open the school building. You didn't care. So who cares, right? That's how they look at it. Who cares? Well, here's what they figured out. If they kick somebody's ass and take their lunch money, they got attention. If they the best fighter in the school, they scare everybody. They got attention. Bullying is a direct result of inferiority complex. Direct result. Later, this will translate into gangs because they're giving them the attention that you never did. Okay, so it builds. Okay, if you mess up one of these, let's say you mess up one of them, it's okay. You can rebuild and remake and totally repair it with the others. But if they keep building, because that child is stuck in that home with those same awful people called parents, we're not going to be able to reverse this. Okay? So now, if you look at the last one that you usually get on your test, and usually the most complex one, which is why I make you watch so much shit that explains it. This one is your adolescence, and you do have to remember it starts around 12, 13, and goes all the way to 18. And if you look at what I wrote, or what it is, it's identity versus role confusion. This is where you turn to the gangs for 3 things, right? Protection is obviously number 1. But provision, what does provision mean if I'm turning to the gangs for provision? What does that mean? What is that about? Why would I turn to a gang for provision? What is going on in my home that's not necessarily sufficient?
Validation? Like for validation?
No, provision. See, another non-nursing term that you're having a struggle with.
Security?
It's not the same thing as security. Say it.
Guidance.
No. Anybody else know what provision means? Just break it down.
Provide?
Provide. Your mom, single mom, poor as hell, makes no money. It's okay. You join the gang, you're going to get your shit. Now, you may get it illegally, but you're going to be draped. Your ass going to have the tennis shoes you never had. You're gonna have everything you never had and you desperately wanted, because this age group is about appearance and how they look. That is why you joined the gang. Provision, providing. You're good with that? Some of y'all know, because you done went broke over them goddamn tennis shoes they wanted. You know, you waiting in line and shit. I know who you are. Okay, you just did it because you know that's what their value system is. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Certainly, I didn't buy Jordans because I don't like Jordan. That's a separate class, motherfuckers. Okay, so if you didn't want Brody, get the fuck out my face. Now, so if I did any of it, I did it to make sure my child felt secure in terms of provide what they wanted. You don't give them everything, but they're just some things like birthday and Christmas. Hey, you gotta do. Everybody understand that, don't y'all? Y'all know birthday and Christmas you done went broke as fuck out here on the pole stripping and shit. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, yo girl. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is, it's not that if you don't do it, they're gonna join a gang. No, but it is one of the reasons why gangs exist. They got the money, they got the protection, you know that, like you said, security. You drop that name or that tattoo, you ain't gonna get fucked with in jail or out. Okay, so it just is what it is. But it's a little role confusion, because with the gang comes some bullshit, right? You got crime now, you done broke the record. I mean, you done broke the law, your punk ass did a stint in jail. You ain't got nobody putting money on your books, but you in a gang. Okay, yeah, right. So there's a lot of drama with it, and this is why we call it a role confusion, because when you don't have your father, which the father provided provision, protection, you look for it in other ways. Yes? Is that simple enough? Yeah? Okay. Now, so you have your under 18 growth and development quickie. Don't be acting brand new about it. We did it earlier when we did our cues on that little 16 or either 14-year-old child. Now, go back to that test taking strategy. Let's make sure your ass is on cue here. Uh-oh. Letter C on page 17 says, what if they're over 65? Ooh. Please remember, in case you did not, and you may not have, it's okay, you're human. Remember, you have a duty to report here. You may have thought it was as simple as anybody under 18, you have a duty to report. No, boo, it's also the elderly. You have a duty to report. That came into context with some of the things I do at work. We had this one situation where there was some domestic violence. Well, domestic violence ain't just domestic violence if the patient over 60. Now you got a duty to report, because the safety of a senior citizen is now in jeopardy. Okay, so in other words, think about what you're doing on this test with that age range. I already talked about earlier things. I said that there's quite a few little nuggets, and I want you to write that right by that little area. Just write a couple things because they're so popular. Earlier, I talked about hydrochloric acid. I talked about GFR. Now, hydrochloric acid, I said, was lower, naturally so, in the elderly. Glomerular filtration rate, this is all kidneys, just in case you didn't know, this is your kidneys, is lower. These are naturally lower, not because the patient is sick. No, babies. These are just naturally lower as we get older. Okay? So that being said, you have to remember, some of these are directly related to disease processes. The low hydrochloric acid is directly related to the risk of C. diff in this patient. In the elderly patient, you don't have the hydrochloric what? Hydrochloric what? Acid. And if you know anything about acid, acid kills. Acid can't kill if you ain't got none, and so the C. diff flourishes. It just goes crazy. Ain't nothing in there to kill it. It's like, hey, you see how this works? The acid provided quite a few things. It also helped you absorb certain nutrients. Watch this. I talked to you earlier. Told you I was going to give it to you again. Here we go. Vitamin D, calcium, B12, and iron. I explained to you earlier that this age range, the over 60-year-old patient, because they don't make as much hydrochloric acid, they are deficient very often in vitamin D, calcium, vitamin B12, and iron. These are all nutrients that cannot be absorbed without HCl. So if you don't have as much, let's see how that plays out. Vitamin D and calcium together, osteoporosis, right? You don't have it, that's what you're at risk for. Who breaks bones? Older people. Hip fractures, right? Y'all still with your girl? Okay, let's look at vitamin D by itself, because this is my time when I tell all the beautiful babies here to take your fucking vitamin D3. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I love you all. You need to take that shit with religion. Vitamin D3. It's over the counter. There's no reason why all these young people come up out of here with lupus, multiple sclerosis, psoriasis, rheumatoid arthritis, IBD, which is your inflammatory bowel disease like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. They're directly related to vitamin D deficiency. Pump it up, one a day. You can overdose in this shit. If you don't have insurance and can't get your vitamin D checked, 2,000 should be sufficient. Not gonna overdose on that shit. That vitamin D3 is taken with food. We in Ohio, maybe not where you live, but in Ohio, we have the highest epidemic of vitamin D deficiency, and therefore we have the highest epidemic of lupus and multiple sclerosis. Now, I don't want that for you, because I've been there, done that, t-shirt, sun visor. I had a vitamin D deficiency. My shit was 4, supposed to be 50 to 80. My punk ass got an autoimmune immunosufficiency, all this shit. I got thyroid. That's the best one to have. At least with thyroid, it's just autoimmune, because vitamin D deficiency gives you autoimmune disease. At least with the thyroid problem, it's easy to fix. It's autoimmune. There is no immunodeficiency in it. I'm not at risk for infection, thank you, Jesus. But it's still a fucking autoimmune disease. Didn't need to happen, but who knew? What symptoms do you have? Charley horses, cramps in your legs, cramps in your feet. That is a vitamin D deficiency. And they hurt. That's the only reason I went to the doctor. I said, what the fuck? I couldn't take my foot off the gas pedal to put it on the brake. It was so contracted and wouldn't move. I go to the doctor, they tell me the shit is 4? It's supposed to be 50 to 80. Yeah, so do your girl a favor. Take good care of yourself, baby. You're always taking care of everybody else. Take care of yourself, shit. Get you some vitamin D, baby. Okay, now, so autoimmune disease, bones and teeth. Here we go. Bones and teeth, calcium. Now let's look at B12. Oh, Lord. That's a whole nother ball game, baby. Vitamin B12. With a deficiency, you're going to have neuropathy and Alzheimer's. And now it all makes sense. It all makes sense. Our problem is that vitamin B12 has such a wide range of normal that really normal low is quite abnormal. I won't bore you with the value because you're going to get those on the test. But the value is so wide, sort of like 1,000 or 3,000. So if you're down here by 1,000, you're really kind of low. Does that make sense? Okay, so what I'm saying to you about vitamin B12 is it's so easy to get. It's in every meat. And it's very easy to get. And if you keep this nice and elevated or normal, you are not going to be at high risk for some of these conditions. But our problem is even when this patient keeps trying to eat the foods that have vitamin B12 in them, because it's not like vitamin D. Where does vitamin D come from, everyone? The sun. What the fuck? We got 5 days this year with sun in them. Everything else is rain out your ass, okay? So vitamin D is the sun, but this is easy to do. The problem is they are eating those foods. But what did I say? They don't have HCl. So they're not absorbing it. Now we have pernicious anemia. We have the whole Alzheimer's. We have this thing where your metabolism is slowing down, so you're gaining the weight. It's just very simple. And you already know what iron is. That's your iron deficiency anemia. Most elderly need a shot every month of B12, need to be taught high iron foods, okay, and have their hemoglobin and hematocrit checked. They definitely need vitamin D until they die, every single day till they die. And they need to have calcium supplements depending on their bone status. I will say this because it's important for you to know culture. The African American or the Latino patient does not need calcium supplementation the way our Asian and Caucasian patients do. It's wrong to not give you culture, right? It's wrong to not explain the role that anthropology plays in the care of the patient. Because I remember working as a nurse midwife, an OBGYN nurse midwife, in a big practice of 11 people. And they gave everybody calcium and Fosamax and those biphosphonate drugs, Boniva, Fosamax, all this crap. And I'm like, wow, that's deep. They didn't need to do that with their African American and their Latino patients, but they didn't know culture. So they're exposing them to drugs that they never needed. Okay, it's just a very big difference between the osteoporosis that some suffer culturally and the osteoporosis that some never suffer culturally. So your Asian and your Caucasian patient absolutely have to worry about the osteoporosis more so than the African American and Latino patient. Now, sometimes what we see, please write it down, sometimes what we see is doesn't matter if they're black, brown, purple, white, red, don't matter. If they're on steroids or DMARDs, which is a whole nother category of drug I'll talk to you about later. If they're on steroids or DMARDs, they absolutely need protection of their bone because steroids will completely cause osteoporosis. Okay. Some of our beloved patients are so low in their counts that they need iron injections because of this little hydrochloric acid issue. Okay, so I'm just trying to expose you very quickly. Obviously, this is a whole video, but I'm trying to expose you to why numbers mean everything. And this is the age of over 60. Now, I told you this earlier. Look under number D. If the question or the answer, because you're looking at numbers and everything,